A brilliant black engineer watches in silent rage as his boss presents his groundbreaking invention to investors, claiming full credit. The room erupts in applause. The engineer's hands tremble. But what they don't know is that he filed the patent 3 weeks ago. Every blueprint, every line of code, every innovation legally his. And when the truth surfaces in front of the board of directors, the boss's world doesn't just crumble, it detonates. This is the story of stolen brilliance, calculated revenge, and justice so precise it feels like poetry. The conference room hums with anticipation. Sleek glass walls, polished mahogany table. 7 investors lean forward in leather chairs. Richard Caldwell stands at the head of the table, silver-haired and commanding. His smile radiates confidence. Behind him, a projection screen glows with technical blueprints. Marcus Bennett stands in the back corner, navy suit, clenched jaw, his dark eyes fixed on the screen. Those are his designs. Every circuit diagram, every line of code, every innovation born from 18 months of sleepless nights. Richard clicks to the next slide. Gentlemen, what you're seeing is the future of renewable energy infrastructure. The investors murmur approval. One adjusts his glasses, studying the algorithm displayed. Marcus's phone weighs heavy in his pocket. Patent confirmation email, dated 3 weeks ago, United States Patent and Trademark Office. Richard gestures expansively. This AI optimization system will revolutionize solar grid efficiency by 47%. Applause ripples through the room. Richard basks in it. Marcus's hands ball into fists. His breathing slows, controlled. The development process took extraordinary vision, Richard continues. His eyes don't even flicker toward Marcus. I'm proud to present this breakthrough innovation. An investor stands, extending his hand. Richard, this is remarkable, truly visionary work. Richard shakes firmly. Thank you, I believe this will redefine the entire industry. Marcus watches the theft happen in real time. Words stolen, credit erased, months of his life claimed by another man's signature. Where are you from? Drop your location in the comments below. And if you're loving this story, hit that like button and subscribe for more. The presentation ends. Investors crowd around Richard, shaking hands, discussing investment terms. Marcus remains motionless, a statue in the corner. Richard finally glances his way. Their eyes meet across the room. Richard's expression says everything, know your place. Marcus's phone buzzes silently. Dr. Ramona Chen, his mentor, patent approved, you own everything, every single line. Marcus's lips curve into the faintest smile. Richard has no idea what's coming. But he will. 6 months earlier. Marcus Bennett's apartment drowns in blueprints. Technical drawings cover the dining table, the couch cascade onto the floor. His laptop glows in the dimness. 3:47 a.m. Coffee mug cold beside the keyboard. Marcus types rapidly, lines of code streaming across the screen. His invention, an AI system that predicts solar panel degradation and optimizes energy distribution in real time. It could change everything. The bedroom door creaks open. Zoe shuffles out, rubbing her eyes. 8 years old, braids messy from sleep. Daddy, why are you still awake? Marcus minimizes the screen, turns. His exhaustion melts into warmth. Hey, sweetheart, just working on something important. She climbs into his lap, small arms around his neck. The world-changing thing. He laughs softly. Yeah, the world-changing thing. How long does changing the world take? A while. He kisses her forehead, but it's worth it. Zoe studies the blueprints scattered around them. Is your boss gonna help? Marcus hesitates. Richard Caldwell hired him 3 years ago, promised mentorship, recognition, a path to senior leadership. Yeah, Marcus says finally, Mr. Caldwell believes in this project. But something whispers wrong. The missed meetings, the sudden NDAs, the way Richard's eyes gleam when reviewing Marcus's progress reports. Marcus pushes the thought away. He's tired, paranoid. Richard has been nothing but supportive. Hasn't he? Zoe yawns. Marcus carries her back to bed, tucks her in, returns to his laptop. An email notification appears. Richard, Marcus, fantastic progress. Let's discuss rollout strategy next week. This innovation will put our company on the map. Our company, our innovations. Marcus stares at the words, tells himself it's collaborative language, team spirit. The unease doesn't fade. He saves his work, triple backs it up. Cloud storage, external drive, email to himself. His father's voice echoes from childhood. Document everything, son. Always protect your work. Marcus had thought that advice was outdated, cynical. Now he follows it instinctively. Something in his gut screams, document everything. He doesn't know why yet. He will. Marcus enters Richard's office carrying a leather portfolio. Inside, the complete prototype documentation, 18 months of work, ready for presentation. Richard looks up from his desk, smile bright. Marcus, come in, come in. The office reeks of success. Awards on the walls, expensive artwork, floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Marcus sets the portfolio down. Final prototype, complete documentation. Algorithm testing results exceeded projections by 12%. Richard opens it slowly. His eyes scan the pages. Something shifts in his expression. Not pride hungers. This is extraordinary, Richard breathes. His fingers trace the diagrams almost possessively. Absolutely extraordinary. Marcus feels a flicker of pride, months of validation in that moment. I'd like to present to the board next week, Marcus says. We could schedule. Let me handle the presentation. Richard closes the portfolio. His tone shifts firmer, final. Marcus blinks. I appreciate that, but I'd like to. Marcus, Richard leans back, steepling his fingers. You're brilliant, truly, but presentations require a certain executive presence. The words hang poisonous in the air. I've built relationships with these investors, Richard continues. They trust my judgment. Let me position this correctly. Marcus's jaw tightens. This is my invention, my work. Of course, Richard's smile never wavers. And you'll receive full credit, internal recognition, bonus compensation, but the face of innovation needs to be. Well, he doesn't finish, he doesn't have to. Marcus stands. When's the presentation? In 2 weeks, I'll keep you posted. Days pass. Marcus is excluded from planning meetings. His calendar invites mysteriously disappear. He tries accessing the lab. His security badge beeps red. Access denied. Temporary system glitch, HR explains. We're working on it. Marcus stands outside the lab, staring at the locked door. His invention sits inside, his prototypes, his code. He walks past Richard's office. The door is cracked open. Richard's voice, phone pressed to ear. The investors will love my innovation. Revolutionary stuff. My innovation. Marcus's blood turns to ice. He keeps walking, legs mechanical. In the parking garage, he sits in his car, grips the steering wheel. Richard isn't just taking credit. Richard is erasing him completely. The theft isn't coming, it's already happened. Marcus closes his eyes, his father's voice. They'll try to take what's yours. He pulls out his laptop, opens his evidence folder. Every email, every timestamp, every backup. If Richard wants war, Marcus will give him war. Legal complete permanent. Marcus sits motionless in his car. The parking garage fluorescents buzz overhead, harsh and cold. His reflection stares back from the rearview mirror. Bloodshot eyes, exhausted, betrayed. 18 months of his life poured into that invention. Late nights while Zoe slept, weekends sacrificed, relationships strained. All for Richard to present it as his own creation. Marcus's hands tremble on the wheel. Rage and grief war inside him. He remembers his father, Samuel Bennett, mechanic for 40 years, watched white colleagues promoted over him repeatedly. Ideas stolen, credit erased, died bitter and unrecognized. Don't be naive, Marcus, his father had said on his deathbed. Document everything, protect your work, they'll smile while robbing you blind. Marcus had thought that was cynicism, generational trauma. The world had changed, hadn't it? I hadn't it. His phone buzzes, Zoe's text, pizza for dinner, pizza love you daddy. The simple message breaks something inside him. He presses his forehead against the steering wheel. His daughter believes he's changing the world, believes hard work and talent matter, believes her father is building something meaningful. What does he tell her now? That the world is exactly as cruel as Grandpa said, that brilliance means nothing without power. No. Marcus lifts his head, his jaw sets. The grief hardens into something colder, sharper. He opens his laptop, pulls up his backup files, emails timestamped and saved, design iterations logged, video recordings of his development process. His father's advice hadn't been cynicism, it had been survival strategy. And Marcus had followed it instinctively, without fully understanding why. Now he understands perfectly. Richard thinks he's won, thinks Marcus is just another engineer who'll accept being erased quietly. Richard is wrong. So very wrong. Marcus drives home in silence. Memories flood back unbidden. Age 12, his father's garage. Marcus watches Samuel sketch improvements to an engine design. Did you show your boss? Young Marcus asks. Samuel's expression darkens. I showed him. 2 weeks later, he presented it as his own innovation, got promoted. What did you do? Nothing. Samuel's voice carries decades of defeat. No proof, no documentation, just my word against his. He turns to Marcus, grips his shoulder. Listen to me, you're going to college, you're going to build things, and when you do, document everything, every conversation, every idea, every iteration. That seems paranoid, Dad. It's not paranoia if they're really out to take what's yours. Marcus hadn't understood then. He'd gone to MIT, excelled, earned his master's degree in electrical engineering, believed that merit mattered. His father had died 3 years ago, heart attack in that same garage. At the funeral, Marcus made a promise, I'll be different, I'll make them see my brilliance, I'll force them to recognize what you never got. Now, parking outside his apartment, Marcus realizes his father had tried to teach him the only lesson that mattered. The world doesn't automatically recognize brilliance. Power recognizes power, documentation is power. Marcus had filed a provisional patent 2 months ago, not because he distrusted Richard, but because Dr. Ramona Chen had insisted. Dr. Chen, his father's old friend, intellectual property lawyer, sharp as broken glass. Patents aren't about distrust, she'd told Marcus over coffee. They're about reality, file now, protect your work. Marcus had reluctantly agreed, filed the provisional, then 3 weeks ago filed the full utility patent. Every circuit design, every algorithm, every line of code, timestamped, legally protected. owned by Marcus Bennett, sole inventor. He hadn't told Richard, something in his gut had screamed, "Don't." Now that instinct proves prophetic. Marcus enters his apartment. Zoe is drawing at the kitchen table. "Did you change the world today?" she asks without looking up. Marcus crouches beside her, studies her drawing, a solar panel powering a house, stick figures smiling underneath. "Yeah, sweetheart," he says quietly, "I think I did. And I'm about to change it again." 10:37 p.m. Marcus sits in his home office, laptop glowing. He'd always been meticulous, backed up everything, but now he's searching for something specific, evidence of Richard's intentions. Company server, Marcus still has access despite the lab lockout. He navigates to shared project folders, his heart pounds. There, a folder titled Caldwell Patent Filing Private. Marcus's blood runs cold, he clicks. Patent application, filed 2 days ago. Inventor listed Richard Allen Caldwell. Co-inventors Marcus Bennett, Lisa Zhang, David Park. Marcus stares, he'd worked alone. Lisa and David were on different projects entirely. This is fraud, deliberate, calculated fraud. But patents require proof of invention timeline, development documentation, evidence of contribution. Richard has none of that, Marcus has all of it. He screenshots everything, downloads the fraudulent filing, timestamps automatically record. Then he finds something worse, an email chain, Richard to the company's patent attorney. "Need to establish my primary inventorship. Can we backdate some documentation?" Marcus's involvement was minimal, mostly implementation under my direction. The attorney's response: "We can structure the narrative, but be careful. Patent fraud carries severe penalties." Richard's reply: "Marcus won't challenge this. He's not the type." Marcus reads that line 3 times. His hands shake, not from fear, from controlled fury. "Not the type." He calls Dr. Chen. She answers on the first ring despite the late hour. "I need you to see something," Marcus says. His voice is eerily calm. 20 minutes later, Dr. Chen sits beside him, reviewing the evidence. Her expression hardens with each document. "He filed a fraudulent patent claim," she says finally, "and these emails show willful intent. Can we stop him?" "Marcus," Dr. Chen turns to face him. "You already stopped him. You filed first, with complete documentation. His claim is legally worthless. But he's presenting to investors in 5 days. Then he's about to commit fraud in front of witnesses." Her smile is sharp. "Let him." Marcus hesitates. "You want me to let him steal credit publicly?" "I want you to let him hang himself publicly. The bigger the stage, the harder the fall." Marcus understands. Richard's presentation isn't just theft, it's evidence. Recorded, witnessed, undeniable. "What do I do?" "Nothing yet." Dr. Chen's eyes glitter. "Attend the presentation, stay silent, let him claim ownership in front of investors. Then we destroy him. Then we expose the truth, legally, completely." Marcus nods slowly. The trap is set. Richard has no idea he's walking into his own execution. And Marcus will be there to watch. The investor presentation. Marcus arrives early, takes a seat in the back corner. Richard enters confident, laughing with investors. Perfectly pressed suit, charismatic smile. He sees Marcus. His expression flickers, surprise, then calculation. He nods curtly. Marcus nods back, says nothing. The presentation begins. Richard's voice fills the room. "Gentlemen, thank you for coming. Today I'm presenting an innovation that will revolutionize renewable energy." Click, the first slide appears. Marcus's circuit diagrams. This AI optimization system represents 18 months of intensive development. My 18 months. Marcus sits perfectly still, watches Richard bask in admiration. The core algorithm predicts panel degradation with 94% accuracy. I wrote that algorithm every single line. An investor raises her hand. Richard, this is impressive. Who else was involved in development? Richard doesn't hesitate. I led the project personally. We had support engineers, of course, but the conceptual breakthrough was mine. Marcus's phone buzzes silently. Dr. Chen, he's committing fraud on record, perfect. Richard continues detailing Marcus's innovations as his own. The investors eat it up. 40 minutes, Marcus endures 40 minutes of theft. Then Richard opens the floor for questions. Who developed the core algorithm specifically? An investor asks. Richard smiles. I did personally. Every iteration was under my direct supervision and creative direction. Marcus stands, the movement is slow, deliberate. Every head turns. That's fascinating, Richard, Marcus says quietly. His voice cuts through the room. Because the U.S. Patent Office has a different story. Richard's smile freezes. Marcus, this isn't the time. Patent number US 11,847,293. Marcus holds up his phone, patent confirmation displayed. Granted 3 weeks ago. Inventor, Marcus Elliott Bennett, sole inventor. The room goes silent, investors stare. Richard's face drains of color. Marcus, we can discuss this. You claimed you developed the core algorithm personally. Marcus's voice remains calm, surgical, but the patent filing includes complete development documentation, time-stamped, video-logged, every iteration attributed to me, alone. An investor stands. Richard, is this true? There's been a misunderstanding, Richard starts. No misunderstanding. Marcus moves forward. You filed a fraudulent patent claim 2 days ago, listed yourself as primary inventor, backdated documentation, I have the emails. Richard's lawyer half rises. Mr. Bennett, these are serious accusations. They're not accusations. Marcus's eyes lock on Richard. They're facts, documented facts, and I'm prepared to present them to the board of directors, today, now. Richard's confidence shatters. His hands grip the table. The investors exchange glances. One closes his portfolio. Another begins typing rapidly on his phone. We'll discuss this privately, Marcus, Richard says through clenched teeth. No, Marcus's voice is steel. We'll discuss it with the board, with legal on the record. He turns to the investors. This presentation is over, and everything you just heard, every claim of ownership was a lie. Marcus walks toward the door, pauses, looks back. You were wrong about one thing, Richard. His voice carries through the frozen silence. I am exactly the type. He leaves, the door closes behind him. Inside the conference room, Richard stands alone, his empire crumbling in real time. 7 investors, 7 witnesses, 7 people who just watched him commit fraud. And Marcus Bennett, the man he tried to erase, owns every single piece of evidence. The war has begun, and Richard has already lost. 20 minutes after the confrontation, Marcus receives the email. Subject, immediate suspension pending investigation. He sits in his car reading it. HR language, corporate sanitization, serious allegations of misconduct and breach of professional conduct. They're spinning it, making him the problem. Marcus drives home in silence. His phone rings 7 times, colleagues he doesn't answer. By evening, the whispers start, text messages from coworkers, dude, what happened? HR says you made false accusations. Richard's lawyer is talking defamation. Marcus sits on his couch, apartment dark except for laptop glow. His suspension is paid pending investigation, but the investigation is controlled by Richard's allies. HR director reports directly to Richard. The company's legal team is Richard's legal team. Marcus had expected justice. Instead, he's isolated, blacklisted internally. His phone buzzes, unknown number, he answers. Mr. Bennett, a lawyer's voice. I represent Caldwell Energy Solutions. We're prepared to offer a settlement, $50,000. You sign an NDA, drop all claims, and resign quietly. Marcus's jaw clenches. No. Mr. Bennett, if you pursue this, we will countersue for defamation, breach of contract, and theft of proprietary information. We have resources you don't. I have the truths. Truth is expensive. Think about your daughter. The line goes dead. Marcus sits in darkness. They're not just fighting him, they're threatening everything. Zoe sleeps in the next room. His savings won't last 6 months without income. The weight crushes down. Institutional power versus one man. His father's voice whispers, "They win because we can't afford to fight." But then Dr. Chen's text appears. Truth doesn't need volume, it needs proof. You have proof, don't surrender now. Marcus closes his eyes, opens his evidence folder. Every email, every timestamp, every patent document. The storm isn't over, it's gathering. And storms don't ask permission. 3 days into suspension, Marcus sits in a coffee shop working on his laptop. His phone buzzes, unknown number. He almost ignores it. Then, Mr. Bennett, this is Priya Sharma, junior engineer at Caldwell. We need to talk, please. Marcus's pulse quickens. Priya worked on a different team. They'd barely spoken. They meet in a parking garage. Priya arrives nervous, glancing around constantly. I have something you need to hear. She pulls out her phone, hands shaking slightly. She plays an audio recording. Richard's voice unmistakable. We need to create a paper trail showing my involvement from the start. Backdate design reviews. Add my name to early documentation. Another voice hesitant. That's falsifying records. Richard's laugh cold. It's telling the story correctly. Marcus was implementation, I was vision. History needs to reflect that. Marcus's blood turns to ice. When was this recorded? 2 months ago, team meeting. Priya stops the recording, her eyes meet his. He's done this before. What? 5 years ago, another engineer, brilliant guy named James Chen. Richard took credit for his optimization algorithm. James tried to fight it. Caldwell Legal buried him in motions. He eventually settled quietly, signed an NDA, left the industry. Marcus stares. Why are you telling me this? Because I stayed silent last time, Priya's voice cracks. I watched James get destroyed. I told myself it wasn't my business. Then I watched Richard present your work last week and she stops. I can't stay silent again. They'll retaliate against you. Probably, she straightens, but I have recordings. 6 months of meetings where Richard coached us to falsify documentation, and I'll testify under oath if necessary. Marcus feels something shift. He's not alone anymore. Why help me now? Priya's expression hardens. Because you stood up, in front of everyone. And because this stops being about you and becomes about every engineer Richard has stolen from or will steal from. Marcus nods slowly. This isn't just civil anymore, this is fraud, criminal fraud. As I know, you could lose your job, your reputation. I know, Priya meets his eyes. Do you want the recordings or not? Marcus extends his hand, they shake. The case just became a pattern, documented, witnessed, undeniable. Richard's empire isn't just cracking, It's about to shatter completely. And this time, the evidence is overwhelming. Marcus and Dr. Chen meet in her office. Priya's recordings play on laptop speakers. Dr. Chen listens in silence. Her expression never changes. When the recordings end, she leans back. "This changes everything," she says quietly. "This isn't just patent theft. This is conspiracy to commit fraud, systematic, repeated." Marcus nods. "What's our move?" "Multi-pronged attack." Dr. Chen opens a legal pad. "First, formal legal notice to the board of directors, not through HR, direct to each board member personally. They'll try to bury it internally. Which is why we simultaneously file federal lawsuit, patent infringement, fraud, intentional infliction of emotional distress." Dr. Chen's pen moves rapidly. "Third, we alert the investors who attended Richard's presentation. They're potential fraud victims too." Marcus feels strategy crystallizing. They invested based on false claims of ownership. Exactly, securities fraud implications. The investors won't stay quiet once they realize they were defrauded. "Won't Caldwell's lawyers crush us with motions?" James Chen got buried. "James Chen didn't have a granted patent. You do. You have timestamped documentation, video evidence of independent development, and now witness testimony and recordings proving systematic fraud." Dr. Chen's smile is razor sharp. "Richard's mistake was going public. His lies are on record, in front of witnesses. We don't need to prove he stole. He already confessed in front of 7 investors." Marcus exhales. The pieces align. "How long until we files?" "Notice to the board goes out tonight. Lawsuit files tomorrow morning. Federal court, public record." "Richard will retaliate." "Let him." Dr. Chen's eyes glitter. "Every action he takes becomes evidence of retaliation. Every threat, every pressure tactic, it all supports our case." Marcus pulls up the formal notice draft, reads it carefully, attaches his patent documentation, timeline evidence, Priya's testimony summary. His finger hovers over the send button. "Once I send this, there's no going back." "Marcus," Dr. Chen leans forward, "you already crossed that line when you stood up in the investor meeting. Now you finish what you started." Marcus thinks of his father, of James Chen, of every engineer whose brilliance was stolen and erased. Well, he clicks send. 7 emails launch simultaneously, 1 to each board member. Subject, patent infringement and fraud by Richard Caldwell. Within 90 minutes, his phone rings. Board chairman. "Mr. Bennett, we need to talk. Emergency meeting tomorrow 9 a.m. Marcus's voice is steady. "I'll be there with my attorney." He hangs up, looks at Dr. Chen. "Well, it's a happening." "Yes," she closes her laptop. "Get some sleep. Tomorrow we go to war." And this time Marcus has ammunition. The emergency board meeting. Sleek conference room, 10 people around the table. Richard arrives with his lawyer. Expensive suit, confident smile. He nods at the board chairman like this is routine. Marcus enters with Dr. Chen, takes a seat directly across from Richard. Their eyes meet. Richard's smile doesn't waver. The chairman speaks. "We've reviewed Mr. Bennett's allegations, very serious claims. Richard, your response." Richard's lawyer stands smoothly. "Mr. Bennett is a disgruntled employee fabricating claims after being disciplined for insubordination. The patent filing is an attempt to claim ownership of company-developed intellectual property." Dr. Chen slides documents across the table. "Mr. Bennett's patent was filed as an independent inventor before any company claim. Here's the USPTO documentation." The board members study the papers, expressions uncertain. Richard's lawyer doesn't miss a beat. Patents filed by employees during employment often constitute work for hire. especially when company resources were used. Marcus developed this on his own time, Dr. Chen counters. Using personal equipment, we have video logs proving independent development. The board chairman frowns. This is complex. Perhaps we should seek external arbitration. No, Richard leans forward. Let's be clear. Marcus worked under my direct supervision. Any innovation created during that time is company property. This patent filing is theft. Marcus feels rage building but stays silent. Dr. Chen touches his arm gently. Wait. The board looks uncomfortable. They want this gone, quietly, internally. We propose mediation, the chairman says. Good faith negotiation, avoid costly litigation. The lawsuit was filed 1 hour ago, Dr. Chen says calmly. Federal court, public record. The room freezes. Richard's smile finally cracks. You did what? Patent infringement, fraud, conspiracy. Dr. Chen's voice never rises. And we've notified the investors from last week's presentation. They're copied on the filing. Richard's lawyer goes pale. You contacted our investors. Your potential fraud victims, Dr. Chen corrects. They have a right to know the presentation they witnessed contained false claims. The chairman stands. This is highly inappropriate. Marcus's phone buzzes. He glances down, text from an unknown number. This is David Park. Richard pressured me to falsify dates on project documents. I have proof. I'll testify. Another buzz. Lisa Zhang here. Richard threatened my promotion if I didn't support his story. I'm done being silent. Marcus shows the messages to Dr. Chen. Her expression doesn't change, but her eyes gleam. Richard sees the exchange. What is that? More witnesses. Marcus speaks for the first time. His voice cuts through the room. Your house of cards is collapsing, Richard. Richard's face darkens. He stands abruptly. This is extortion. This is justice. Marcus remains seated calm. You stole my work, committed fraud, and now it's documented, witnessed, and filed in federal court. The board members exchange glances. Corporate liability calculations happening in real time. Richard points at Marcus. You'll regret this. I will destroy. Careful, Dr. Chen's voice is silk over steel. Threats of retaliation in front of the board. Please continue. Richard's lawyer grabs his arm, pulls him back, whispers urgently. The chairman clears his throat. This meeting is adjourned. Legal will review and advise. Marcus stands, looks directly at Richard. See you in court. He walks out, Dr. Chen beside him. In the hallway, Marcus finally exhales. Did we win? Not yet. Dr. Chen's expression is serious. Richard still has power, resources. This gets worse before it gets better. Marcus nods. He knows. But for the first time, Richard looked afraid. And fear means the truth is landing. The lawsuit goes public the next morning. Media picks it up within hours. Headlines explode. Major tech company accused of patent theft and engineer claims boss stole breakthrough innovation. Marcus's phone rings constantly. Journalists, former colleagues, people he hasn't spoken to in years. But Richard doesn't retreat, he attacks. Marcus receives notice. Caldwell Energy Solutions is countersuing. Defamation, breach of contract, theft of trade secrets, demanding $2 million in damages. Simultaneously, Richard's team files motions to freeze Marcus's assets. Claims Marcus downloaded proprietary company information. Dr. Chen calls. They're playing hardball, trying to drain your resources before trial. Marcus sits at his kitchen table. Bills spread in front of him, savings account dwindling. Can they freeze my accounts? They'll try, we'll fight it, but legal battles are expensive, Marcus. He looks at Zoe's school photo on the fridge. How expensive? Silence, then if this goes to full trial, 6 figures minimum. Marcus closes his eyes. He'd expected justice would be hard, not impossible. That night, Zoe asks why they're eating ramen again. Marcus forces a smile. Just being careful with money, sweetheart. Is it because of the world-changing thing? He pulls her close. Yeah, sometimes doing the right thing costs everything. She hugs him tighter. Grandpa would be proud of you. Marcus's throat tightens. He thinks of his father, dying bitter because he never had the resources to fight. Is Marcus heading for the same fate? His phone buzzes. Email from an organization he doesn't recognize. Tech Workers Justice Coalition. Mr. Bennett, we've reviewed your case. We'd like to offer legal and financial support. This affects the entire industry. You're not alone. Marcus stares at the email, reads it 3 times. More messages flood in. Engineers from other companies, stories of similar theft, offers of testimony, donations to a legal fund someone started without his knowledge. Dr. Chen calls again. Marcus, have you seen social media? He hasn't. He opens Twitter. His case is trending. Stand with Marcus, patent justice. Engineers sharing their own stories. Designers, programmers, researchers, all stolen from all erased. Marcus's case stopped being about him. It became a reckoning. He looks at Zoe. She's drawing again. Solar panels powering cities, her father's invention saving the world. Marcus makes his decision. He calls Dr. Chen. Whatever it costs, however long it takes, we see this through to the end. Even if it costs everything. Marcus thinks of his father, of James Chen, of every brilliant mind crushed by people like Richard. Especially then. Dr. Chen's voice softens. Okay, we fight. Marcus hangs up, opens his laptop, begins preparing for the deposition. Richard wanted to bury him quietly. Instead, Marcus is about to expose an entire system. The cost is high, but silence costs more. And Marcus refuses to stay silent. 6 weeks later, federal courthouse, courtroom 7B. The gallery is packed. Journalists, engineers, tech bloggers. The case drew attention far beyond one stolen patent. Marcus sits with Dr. Chen at the plaintiff's table. Across the aisle, Richard and 3 lawyers. Richard looks thinner, tired, but his expression remains defiant. The judge enters, everyone rises. Please be seated. We're here for Bennett v. Caldwell Energy Solutions. Patent infringement and fraud claims. The proceedings begin. Dr. Chen presents Marcus's patent filing, complete documentation, timeline evidence. Mr. Bennett filed his patent application on March 15th, Dr. Chen states. 6 weeks before Mr. Caldwell's fraudulent claim, the Patent Office approved Mr. Bennett's application after thorough review. Richard's lead attorney objects. The timing is irrelevant if the work was done under company supervision using company resources. Except it wasn't. Dr. Chen clicks a remote. Video appears on the courtroom screen. Marcus in his apartment. Timestamp 2:37 a.m. working on his laptop. Blueprints spread across his personal desk. This is one of 47 video logs Mr. Bennett maintained during development, all showing independent work, personal equipment, personal time. The judge studies the screen. Continue. More videos play. Marcus coding late at night, testing prototypes in his apartment, working alone. Richard's attorney shifts uncomfortably. Employee work can still be company property under certain contracts. Not when the employee files patents independently. Dr. Chen produces Marcus's employment contract. No patent assignment clause, no intellectual property claim. Mr. Bennett retained all rights to independent inventions. Murmurs ripple through the gallery. Richard whispers urgently to his lawyers. Then Dr. Chen plays Priya's recordings. Richard's voice fills the courtroom, backdate design reviews, add my name to early documentation, create a paper trail. The judge's expression hardens. Is that Mr. Caldwell's voice? Yes, Your Honor, instructing employees to falsify records to support his fraudulent patent claim. Richard's attorney objects repeatedly. Overruled, overruled, overruled. Priya testifies next, then David Park, then Lisa Zhang, each describing Richard's pressure to falsify documentation. The evidence piles up, overwhelming, undeniable. Finally, Marcus takes the stand. Dr. Chen guides him through his testimony, calm, factual, precise. Mr. Bennett, did you develop this invention independently? Oh, yes. Did Mr. Caldwell contribute to the core innovation? No, he reviewed my progress reports, that's all. When did you learn he intended to claim credit? Marcus's jaw tightens. When I overheard him call it his innovation on a phone call, then when he presented it to investors as his own work. How did that make you feel? Betrayed, erased, like 18 months of my life meant nothing. The courtroom is silent. Marcus's words hang in the air. Richard's attorney cross-examines, tries to poke holes, suggests Marcus is vindictive, ambitious, lying. But the evidence doesn't lie. Video timestamps, recordings, witnesses. The judge calls a brief recess, returns 30 minutes later. I've reviewed the evidence presented. This court finds clear and convincing evidence of willful patent infringement by Mr. Caldwell. Furthermore, the recordings and testimony demonstrate systematic fraud. Gasps from the gallery, Richard goes rigid. Mr. Caldwell's patent claim is hereby invalidated. Mr. Bennett's patent is affirmed as sole inventor. Additionally, this court awards damages to Mr. Bennett for fraud and reputational harm. The gavel falls. Marcus exhales not triumph, just exhausted relief. Justice doesn't roar, it simply quietly arrives. Richard stands abruptly. His lawyers restrain him. He stares at Marcus across the courtroom. For a moment, their eyes meet. Richard's expression shock, rage, disbelief. Marcus says nothing, just holds his gaze. Richard looks away first. Finally, the verdict reverberates through the tech industry within hours. Richard Caldwell ordered to pay $4.2 million in damages. Patent rights confirmed as Marcus's sole property. Fraud findings on public record. Caldwell Energy Solutions board meets in emergency session. Richard is terminated immediately. No severance, no stock options. The investors pull their funding. The company's stock drops 30% in 2 days. Richard's name becomes synonymous with corporate fraud. LinkedIn profile deleted. Industry invitations revoked. Marcus sits in Dr. Chen's office reading the official judgment. The words blur slightly. He hasn't slept properly in weeks. You did it, Dr. Chen says softly. We did it, Marcus looks up. I couldn't have done this alone. No, but you had the courage to start it, she smiles. That's the hardest part. Marcus returns home. Zoe runs to him, throwing her arms around his waist. Did you win, Daddy? He lifts her up. Yes, sweetheart, we won. Does that mean you changed the world? Marcus thinks about that. The verdict, the media attention. Other engineers reaching out, inspired to document their own work to stand up against theft. I think we're getting there. His patent is now licensed to a consortium of renewable energy companies. Marcus retains creative control and receives royalties. His invention is being implemented across 3 states. Every blueprint carries his name. Every technical document credits Marcus Elliot Bennett, inventor. Richard's name has been erased from the project history, completely. Priya Sharma gets promoted to senior engineer. David Park and Lisa Zhang receive public commendations for their integrity. James Chen, the engineer Richard victimized 5 years ago, calls Marcus. "Thank you," he says simply. "You did what I couldn't." "You helped me know what to expect," Marcus replies. "That mattered." Marcus starts his own consulting firm. Independent, uncompromising. He specializes in helping other engineers protect their intellectual property. His first client, a young black woman with a revolutionary battery design. She's terrified of being stolen from. Marcus teaches her his father's lesson. Document everything, every iteration, every conversation. Protect your work before trusting anyone. She nods, taking notes frantically. Marcus sees himself in her desperation, her hope, her fear. "You're going to be okay," he tells her. "And if anyone tries to take what's yours, you call me." One evening, Marcus sits with Zoe. She's coding on her own laptop now, 8 years old and already building simple programs. "Always save your work, baby girl," he reminds her. "I know, Daddy," she doesn't look up, focused, determined. "And Zoe. Oh yes. Document everything." She grins, Grandpa's rule. Marcus smiles, Grandpa's rule. Legacy secured, truth protected, justice earned. And this time, the brilliant mind gets to keep what's his. Marcus stands in his new office. Sunlight streams through windows overlooking the city. On his desk, the patent certificate, framed, patent number US 11,847,293, inventor Marcus Elliot Bennett. Not a trophy, a reminder. He thinks about his father. Samuel Bennett died believing the world would never recognize his brilliance. Died bitter, defeated. But Samuel taught Marcus the one lesson that mattered: protect your work, document everything, trust carefully. That lesson saved Marcus. That lesson is saving others now. The consulting firm grows. Engineers seek him out. Designers, programmers, researchers, all brilliant, all vulnerable to theft. Marcus teaches them his system: documentation, backup, legal protection before collaboration. Creativity without protection is vulnerability, he tells each client. Your brilliance deserves defense. His invention now powers solar grids across 3 states. Energy efficiency increased by 47%, exactly as Marcus predicted. His algorithms run silently, optimizing power flow, saving millions in waste. Every technical manual credits him. Every patent citation references his work. His name permanent in the technology's history. Richard's name appears nowhere, erased as thoroughly as Richard tried to erase Marcus. That's not revenge, that's accuracy. Marcus receives an email from MIT. They want him to speak to engineering students about intellectual property protection. He accepts, stands before 200 future innovators. Your ideas have value, he tells them. But value without protection is risk. Document your work, file your patents, trust carefully, because the world doesn't always recognize brilliance when it wears a darker face. But the law, when wielded with precision, can be colorblind. The students listen, some take notes, others record his lecture. One young black student stays after. "Mr. Bennett, I'm working on something I think could change renewable energy storage, but I'm scared my advisor will." "We'll steal it," Marcus finishes gently. The student nods, ashamed. "Don't be ashamed, be prepared." Marcus hands him a card. Email me, we'll protect your work before anyone else sees it. The student's relief is visible, thank you. Marcus watches him leave, sees his younger self. His father, James Chen, every brilliant mind who faced the choice, stay silent or fight impossible odds. Now there's a third option, fight with preparation, with documentation, with truth protected legally. Marcus returns home. Zoe is older now, still coding, still creating. She shows him her latest project, an app that teaches kids about solar energy through games. Did you save your work? Marcus asks. Saved, backed up, time-stamped, she grins. And I took screenshots of every version. Marcus laughs, Grandpa's granddaughter. Think it'll change the world. He studies her app, thoughtful, creative, brilliant. Yeah, sweetheart, I think it will. That night, Marcus stands on his balcony. City lights spread below. Solar panels glint on rooftops, some powered by his algorithms. He thinks about justice, how it's not guaranteed, how it requires courage, documentation, and relentless persistence. How brilliance alone isn't enough, you have to protect it, fight for it, defend it legally. His phone buzzes, another engineer requesting consultation, another innovator afraid of theft. Marcus replies, I can help, document everything, will protect your work. He closes his eyes, feels his father's presence. Samuel Bennett, mechanic, died unrecognized. But his son changed the world and taught others to do the same. The final image, Marcus's framed patent on the wall. Beside it, a photograph, his father in that garage, smiling, holding a blueprint. Both inventors, both brilliant. Only one got to keep his name on his work. Marcus makes sure that one becomes many. Because silence is acceptance, and Marcus Bennett refuses to stay silent. Some storms don't ask permission. They simply arrive bringing truth, justice, and change.